Hey race fans, we have caught up with Dan Anderson of Anderson Motorsports, and I don't know if there isn't a whole lot that you don't do right now in the open wheel circuit in the United States. And Dan, welcome to Pits Racing Radio right here on CBS Sports.
Thank you for having me on.
Seriously, let's talk now. You've got the new F2000 series coming back, I suppose, and you're the mentor for that. How did all that come about, and what do we look forward to?
Well, back in the 90s, one of the first things that I did in racing was the F2000 series from 92 to 2001. It was called the US F2000 National Championship then, and we were sanctioned by initially USAC and then SCCA, and the IRL. When they created the IRL, Tony George actually helped us out as well. And during that decade, we advanced the careers of drivers, including Dan Weldon, Sam Hornish Jr., Buddy Rice, Andy Lally, a number of other drivers who climbed the ladder, actually quite a few. Greg Ray, Mamo Gidley, I could list 10 or 15 drivers that made it to some level of pro racing. And it was a good series. I sold it in 2001. It ended up dying in the mid-2000s, and about a year ago the IRL approached me about resurrecting it. And the result is the Road to Indy, which is what we have here, a three-step ladder system with IRL sanction now, and it gives a clear career path for young kids coming out of go-karting or out of Skip Barber or out of some club-level series to make it to the top.
It's a pretty logical step, too. You can see where the technology in this car, then moving over here to the Star Mazda car, I mean, it's a different pod and everything else, completely different engineered from an open wheel perspective, but not that great a leap anymore, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
you've got a car here with about 170 horsepower, capable of, at the tracks that we run, it'll be 140 to 145 miles an hour. You jump up to a 250 horsepower car that's capable of 165 miles per hour, and then you go to the Indy Lights behind the sign, and that's 425 horsepower, capable of 200 miles an hour. And the price points change all the way up for budget requirements, but you get good cost per mile race experience on this level, raise your sponsorship and your budget, build your resume, move up to Star Mazda, and then move into Indy Lights.
Well, you know, I see an interesting theme here this year at the PRI show. We try to mentor as many young racers as we can from all different types of the sport, drag racing right on down. And the show with the RRDC symposium that was upstairs, they're talking about how to prepare these drivers both mentally, physically, and financially to start making these steps. So
it's
obviously,
more than just steering the wheel.
Yeah, obviously we got some type of platform going on here right now to really push open wheel racing back to the zenith, probably in the world. I mean, it's probably never been there, but you know, do you see that? Do you see open wheel racing at the Indy level taking over where F1 was, because it's no longer here?
Well, I think the merger of Champ Car and the Indy Car was actually a great first step towards a unification of the whole sport and a promotion of the whole sport. IndyCar racing in the early 90s was very strong, and it lost a bit of its luster over the last 10, 15 years.
Absolutely.
So bringing it back starts at the grassroots. We need to build names. If you go to NASCAR, a driver makes it to the top, and the fans already know who that driver is before he gets there. IndyCar needs to do that, and they are doing that. This is how we're going to promote the careers of young drivers, get name recognition, actually build a fan base. When they show up at the Indy 500, they'll not be an unknown from some other country.
Now tell us a little bit about, you have a test track down here in Florida.
Yes.
Now what's that all about?
We own a 1-mile road course in Palmetto, Florida, just south of St. Pete. We use part of it for go-karting. We have a very active go-karting community. We also run a go-karting team on both East and West Coast. Okay. We had 4 karts entered in the race last night here at the CKI race. So we pick the kids up from an early age. We have schools that we run at the track in Palmetto. My Star Mazda team runs out of Palmetto. My Indy Lights team runs out of Ray Hall Letterman's shop in Columbus. He's our affiliate partner on that show. So we have our fingers in a lot of different levels of racing. Now,
is it a planned thing on your side not to have a full-fledged Indy team, or you just satisfied with getting to the Indy Lights?
I am satisfied with getting to the Indy Lights level, because if you're going to be an IndyCar team, you really have to if you want to win IndyCar races, you really have to be a professional package on that level with the right budget, the right capital. I don't see us being able to go in there and compete on the level of the top 4 or 5 teams that are up there. But on this level, we do a really fine job. We've won a lot of races in the last few years with all my different teams. Always room for improvement, but We've worked with a lot of young drivers, and I actually enjoy watching the drivers make it.
Yeah, I compliment you and congratulate you on that, because I'll tell you what, the foundation of motorsports needs to start where you are. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
And if you hand it off, and it's a strong handoff like any good football team and quarterback would have to his running back, well, then you've done your job. I mean, you've coached them to a fairly well. So
I agree.
Congratulations. Look forward to working with you guys through your wonderful PR person here, Linda and
Thank you very
Mansfield.
much.
She works with us from time to time, and
does a great
the
job.
road to Indy starts with you, and that's a great thing. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.